In the south of Madagascar, the Red Island, as people used to call it, halfway between the central island on the western coast, lies a mining town called Ilakak. The discovery of sapphires in 1998 placed this village of just a few souls as one of the main sapphire deposits on the map of the world. I visited Ilakak for the first time in 2005. And since then have returned 6 times to visit all the known sapphire deposits around the town. Thanks to the contact I made through the years, some who have become really good friends, bringing me precious help, GA has been able to localize most of the sapphire deposits around Ilakak. We have been able to build the most reliable and realistic map of the sapphire deposit around Ilakak ever published. How many people there? One more point on the map. With an area of about 120 kilometers by 100 kilometers, Ilakak is probably the largest sapphire deposit in the world today. Most of the sapphire are found in Paleo Channel, meaning former riverbed, sometimes hidden up to 50 meters under the surface. The area is a huge secondary deposit. This is the stone that they use as indicators?
5, 6, 7 meters to put this gravel to the surface. Very hard work, I can imagine.
Located at the limit of the Ishal National Park, Ilakak is surrounded by breathtaking landscape on wide natural expanse. Home to endemic species and various ethnic groups, the Sapphire Rush Town is a microcosm of colors and exchange between all the actors and witnesses of the gem mining business. From dawn to dusk, the place is living at the rhythm of gem mining and trading. Covering a full spectrum of rainbow colors, sapphires, alexandrite chrysoberyl, and all other gems like garnet and spinel are the only reason for anyone to be here. Directly or indirectly, any business are linked to it. Near Ilakak, you can find the original mining site, still active, where some of the local miners are hired to work by investors. The mayor of Ilakak doesn't authorize mechanical mining near the town, thus allowing newcomers the opportunity of work.
You have about between 100 and 200 diggers?
As manpower is definitively necessary to work these sites. Following the technique of the decoupage, miners are daisy chaining in order to remove the overburden and find the gem-rich gravel beneath to be washed and searched for sapphire.
Aujourd'hui travail, demain soir, paie la
Paid on a daily basis, these job opportunities are becoming rarer at the periphery of the town, as most of it has been already searched. But Ilakak is 120 by 100 kilometers. But there is only one road passing through the deposit that is associated with a network of dirt roads. Nevertheless, in many cases we have to walk. To reach a deposit, we often have to follow river stream.
Mar Saphir.
Fantôme et Saphir. This is the local things.
Some of the most remote mining areas are hard to reach, taking numerous hours, sometimes days, walking under the strong Malagasy sun. Walking, hiking, getting wet and dusty, it sometimes takes a lot to reach a place
The army and the police still afraid to go there also.
Spinel bleu, grenat, cridobéryl, saphir rose, saphir blanc, tourmaline. Tourmaline. Most of the mining sites are exploited in a traditional way. Finding gem-rich gravel is the only thing that matters for the miners.
Saphir rose principalement, des tout petites pierres.
They will find them on the ground, digging horizontally into a cliff, or after digging a deep vertical pit in the middle of what looks to be nowhere. Collecting and washing this precious gravel are their main focus, as hidden among the majority of worthless material might be the gem that will change their life.
C'est essayer de trouver la grosse pierre et rien d'autre.
The mining pit technique is the most impressive. Hundreds of thousands of these single pits can be seen all over the region. Usually they are less than a meter in diameter to minimize the chance of collapsing. The Malagasy miners dig them using simple hand tools. They can be as deep as 50 or even 60 meters in order to reach the precious gravels. Deep underground, oxygen is rare. In order to obtain the life-giving oxygen, the miners use simple, ingenious, low-cost ventilation system made of plastic bags to send air to the diggers. We are going down a pit about 36 meters deep to see with our own eye in which conditions the miners are working.
Entrez.
Ici, on peut voir un petit peu étudier la couche dans laquelle les gens travaillent et voir un petit peu les conditions de travail de ces mineurs.
Pink, yellow, blue, purple. A gem will shine out of the accumulated unwashed gravels. Using mainly the closest rivers or water point, the miners and their family wash and search the gravels, even the children sometimes. It is hard work, to say the least. Miners' life depends on finding and selling sapphires. Local Malagasy buyers open sometimes counters inside the village.
10 000 francs.
And miners visit the market at the end of the day to sell what they found at the best possible price.
On va pas tout de suite arriver et commencer à regarder des pierres, sinon ça va être compliqué. À la fin, ils verront que les étrangers sont là et c'est plutôt demain qu'on achètera des pierres ici.
When you arrive in a mining village, it requires a good knowledge of the culture and local people to find interesting stone without disturbing the existing business practice. Foreigners are not usually allowed to buy gems in village. Nevertheless, with proper introductions, once relationships are created and people know what you are here for, the stone begin to appear.
Tout le monde cherche du saphir. Donc là, j'ai simplement acheté une petite pierre qui n'a pas de valeur, juste, on va dire, pour amorcer un petit peu la conversation, montrer qu'on est là, qu'on achète. C'est une pierre absolument sans intérêt, juste pour amorcer un petit peu les relations.
Time is our best allies in all these kind of expedition. The longer you stay, the more chance you have of seeing something interesting. The Sri Lankans are the main traders here. They have an ancestral knowledge of sapphire mining and trading. What the ruby is for the Burmese, the sapphire is for the Sri Lankan.
At the GA laboratory in Bangkok. So I'm working for an American company in Thailand, but I'm French.
In good harmony with local rules and people, the Sri Lankan usually help the Malagasy miners, providing them with food and tools.
So like that you are friendly with the local people, correct?
Yeah, very friendly.
Yeah. Okay.
In exchange for what the miner brings them in the way of their fighting when dust descends. The Sri Lankans understand that the closer they are to the production site, the better positioned they are to get their hand on the stone before others. As there is only one main road to reach Ilakak, they open counters in some small village between Ilakak and the main mining site in the area, transforming this village into trading post. Therefore, they are the first one miners will visit on their way between the mine and Ilakak.
So they want to get the stone like a first.
Okay, so it's geographically it's the best place to buy the stone.
Yes, yes.
Nowadays, most of the sapphire trade in the region is in the hand of the Sri Lankan community. In addition to the Thais, a few Westerners, and some Malagasy traders. We visited most of the mining sites around Ilakak in the recent years. There are still some to visit. The probability of finding new sapphire deposits are high. The main issue here are the lack of infrastructure, knowledge, technique, and investment required to turn Ilakak into a real success story. It is still a young deposit. It takes history and complicity to create a relationship between people, gems, and their origin. Madagascar has a huge potential as a sapphire producing country. GIA will keep visiting Madagascar to study and document all its deposits. The islands still have much more to offer.